The UK bonds collapse has caused Liz Truss to leave the office, being the shortest serving Prime Minister in UK. With the downgrade of US bonds from AAA to AA+, what is its fate going to be like? Though the 30 years bond's current coupon or yield is paying above 4%. We are going to study the future trend of US bonds 2023 and beyond. Is the US saving bond crash coming, or it is still safe to invest and trade US bonds? Let's find out in this tutorial, US bonds explained. And before that, please do take some time to read into the disclaimer. Let's get into the technical before we study into the fundamental of US bonds. How do we identify a classic uptrend line that's being broken, and why is it important to identify a classic uptrend line? Because once it is broken like this, it also means that there's a transition from a long-term uptrend to a long-term downtrend. First of all, how to identify a classic uptrend line? It is that we have to find at least 3 significant troughs. Then we align them together. But what we're seeing here is that there's more than 3 significant troughs. The more, the merrier. There's 1, 2, a few here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, at least 8 of them, and I align them and project a line upwards. And we could see that technically around this period in 2022, it has been broken very convincingly. And that signifies that the long-term uptrend for the bonds may be over and we're transiting into a long-term downtrend. Let's take a look at the tutorial done in 8th of July 2022. Before the transit of the downtrend, what we could see here was in April 2022, we could see a very clear sign that the market have broke below. So then my expectation was that I will be keen to sell into retracement. Over the past many years, knowing that it was an uptrend, my strategy was to buy into dips. But moving forward, as of this time frame in April 2022, since there's transition from uptrend to downtrend, my plan is to sell into strength instead of buying into dips. Now let's take a look at what happened right now. And we could see that the market, as it moved down, it retraced. And that's what I mean that sell into retracement. Is the US saving bond crash coming? Is it still safe to invest and trade in the US bonds? We have to make a very clear distinction. What is the difference between investment and trading? Investment is for the long term and trading is for the short term. Since technically it's telling me that there's a transition from an uptrend to a downtrend in the bonds, I'm not exactly to buy and hold bonds over the long term. Let's study about the fundamental. In August 2023 this year, that Fitch rating cuts its US debt rating from AAA to AA+, citing a steady deterioration in standards of governance. And that's a fundamental reason. It doesn't make me a wise investor if I'm going to earn a 4% coupon or yield, but I lost on my capital gain. However, if you're still keen to invest in the bonds, there are 3 ways that you can do it. Number 1, you can go to Treasury Direct. Just Google about them. You can invest in the bonds directly. Number 2, you can always call up your brokers or your banks. I believe that they will help you to do that. And number 3, you can Google about US bonds, funds, and ETFs. And I believe that you'll find the right match for you. But for me, I'll be more keen to trade the US bonds. And this is how I'm going to do it. And what we're seeing here are all the notes, the 2 years notes, 5 notes, 10 years, and 30 years bonds. And generally what we could see here, they're behaving in the same manner. The long-term uptrend is being compromised, is being broken. And moving forward, like what I said earlier, the strategy is to sell in strength, then buy into dips Moving forward, what I'm going to do here is that if I'm going to look into the shorter term, that's what I mean here. That as it broke below this major uptrend line, each time as it moved down, as it retraced, I'll be willing to sell into strength. So what's your take? US bonds investment into a long term or trade US bonds? Are you seeing risk or are you seeing opportunity here? And since we know what is the risk ahead, I'm seeing a lot of opportunity moving forward. I'm willing to trade in US bonds, sell into strength whenever opportunity arises. Always enjoy studying the correlation between the markets and to uncover potential opportunities. And I hope today's sharing it will be helpful in how we invest and trade. Feel free to leave me any comments below. I'd love to exchange ideas with you. Really happy that you stayed through this tutorial. You have many great trading weeks.